Morning to everybody. Thanks ever so much for coming back to the Great Yorkshire Showground.
I just wanted to thank you very much for agreeing to join the Sustainable Farming Incentive pilot. So the pilot and your efforts have already led to significant improvements. And because, as you will be aware, the purpose of the pilot is to test things so as to make the full scheme the best it can be.
But we also want to use this as an opportunity to listen to you and to gain more understanding of your experiences in the pilot and implementing the standards. So the breakout groups are really an opportunity for you to give your views about how it's going, what things are going well, what things can be improved. The other big area where we're looking to learn is the scheme design, and will the scheme work for you, and how does it work for you? Are the actions easy to implement, and do they produce the outcomes that you hope they would?
So what have we done to the online application service? Well, I guess we've tried to make it simpler, faster, better. So once again, thank you for all your feedback. We really are listening, and we're really grateful for you taking part in the pilot and giving us this really great insight.
So many farmers are doing great things, and I think there's a huge opportunity in some of these schemes. You working with DEFRA, making them better, making them fit into our farmed landscape that rewards us in different ways.
The one standard that I found was the most useful was the hedges. You don't have to take land out of production. They're an absolute joy to see in the spring with all the wildflowers and the hawthorn, the may, and when the public come past, the comments that you get about the hedges just amazing.
You'll see there's some sets of tables set up at the bottom, and talk amongst yourselves about what you think, whether you think that these results are right or not right, or what you'd like to change, or what you think is good or not so good.
So today's SFI pilot face-to-face event has been really good. It's been good to chat to other people in the same situation as us, so we can find out what they're thinking, what we're thinking, and also a bit of like reassurance. It's just the big one is the payment rates. Obviously BPS is reducing, farmers are all starting to think about what else to do, but ultimately the payment rate on the SFI isn't making people want to jump out of what they're doing and into this. So there needs to be probably a bit more of a sweetener to get people to sign up.
That's the other thing. I have really spent hours coming to terms with the IT because I am not young.
Okay, so one thing that you would change then for the grassland soils one?
Today's event, very useful, apart from anything else. And I know I'm not the only farmer that's not very confident yet in what they're doing. The biggest feedback I get from this is that we are all swimming in unknown waters, trying best to try and work it out.
I think if you look at the latest SFI, the definition has been improved compared to the one that was used for the pilot.
I think it's probably due to like the quantity of paperwork and the amount of emails you get. People are a bit like, oh, I don't know if I've got all the evidence I'm meant to have. Whereas actually the realistic evidence we're meant to have is very doable. It seems a lot when it's in 25 pages of documents.
Okay, cool. We'll move on to number 4.
It maybe just opens your mind a bit more because you're sort of working away on your own at home on the farm. And you think, oh, I've got my head around that, I know what I'm going to be doing. And then you talk to someone else who's read exactly the same rules and maybe got a slightly different interpretation or a different idea of how to work that into your farming system at home.
Again, like a lot of what they're asking for is like, how's it going? We can't really answer that because we've not actually really done anything yet. And certainly with the soil standard, it's going to be more than 3 years before you see a difference. But we don't want a longer scheme, so it's a bit of a catch-22 in that scenario. And then the big one for us is the key thing for soils is the drainage. And obviously currently in the capitals there's no funding for drainage. Yes, it's an expensive cost, but I think it's something that really needs to be addressed.
We have seen improved soil structure.
Yeah.
We have seen a reduction in cultivation costs. So then an increase in profit margin per crop. I am very keen for the scheme to work if it could.
That means you are engaged, that you care, and you wouldn't be saying these things if you didn't want it to work.
No,
so
and
it's
it
exactly what we need.
Made us look at different things and try them.
I just wanted to thank you all for coming today. I know some of you have had a real long journey to be here, but I wanted to thank you for making the effort, coming along. I know you've taken time out of your busy farming day. We're really grateful for that. From a few of you that have came up to me to say that I'd be really interested in you doing a farm visit. If there's any more of you, please come up and see one of us in green t-shirts and tell us about it, because we are doing a series of farm visits alongside these more the bigger events that we're doing around the country. Thanks everybody.
Every time you talk to DEFRA, it's kind of reassuring you that actually they're not going to come and penalise you. And if they're not happy with what you're doing, then they will discuss it with you rather than immediately sort of come down on you like a ton of bricks. And it's going to take a few years for me to really feel confident that that's the case. So every opportunity to get that interaction with them is really good, much more positive.